Also, I want to show you how you can make configuration of the DHCP for different VLAN computers. So let me open new file now. No, I'm not going to save it, and DHCP with VLANs. Well, actually this is same topology, but in this example we have with you two VLANs, and we are going to make configuration of inter-VLAN routing before we can start to make configuration of the VLANs. Maybe I already have these IP addresses because I forget do I have them or not. So to check it out, we'll just go to configuration of the router. We'll type the command show IP interface brief, and we don't have any IP configured on interface gigabit 00, and it is good. So we have to create two sub-interfaces. I will not explain the theoretical part of this sub-interfaces because this is explained on previous lessons, and we have to go to configure gigabit 00 with sub-interface 10, and we'll say that we want to provide we want to change its encapsulation to encapsulation.1q, which is turning on the trunk, and we'll say that we want to work with VLAN number 10, and then we'll provide an IP address for that sub-interface, 10.1 with the subnet mask of prefix 24. The same job we'll do with gigabit 00 and sub-interface 20. Encapsulation.1q will be configured with VLAN 20, and then IP address is going to be 20.1 with subnet mask of prefix 24. Well, my sub-interfaces of the router are ready. Now let me make configuration of my switch, so that we have here interface FA04, which will be the part of VLAN 10, and FA03, which will be the part of VLAN 20. And also we have between router 0 and switch we have a trunk, so that I have to configure FA01 with the trunk mode configuration. Well, let me start to do it. On switch I will make configuration. First of all, I will create VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, and then I will go to make configuration of interface FA04, and I will say that switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN number 10. Interface FA03 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 20, and then interface FA01 switch port mode trunk. Let me check my VLAN table, so that in my VLAN table I have to see my VLANs, like VLAN 10, which has interface FA04, and VLAN 20, which has interface FA03. And I don't have to find in this VLAN table interface FA01, because it is placed in different category, and if you type the command show interface trunk, you will be able to find out the interface FA01's configuration. Now it's time to make configuration, but first of all, it's time to make check. Do I have inter-VLAN routing? Oh, I think that I forget to configure IP address, and but first of all I have to take this IP addresses from the DHCP server. So that let me create the DHCP pool, which will provide the information for two VLANs. First of all, I have to exclude all unneeded IP addresses which I don't want to give. So I'll just write DHCP IP DHCP excluded address, and I'll say that I don't want to give addresses like 10.1 and till 192.168.10.5, and I also don't want to give, so excluded address 192.168.20.1 till 192.168.20.5. Let me even take this configuration and let me paste them into the notepad. It will be better for you to overview these comments. And then I have to also provide, I have to create two DHCP pools. One DHCP pool for VLAN 10, which will give information about network 192.168.10.0 with subnet mask of prefix 24. And then I will say that so default router will be 192.168.10.1 DNS server or DNS. Let me take a look one more time for the syntax, because maybe I will have problem with this syntax. IP DHCP pool VLAN 10, and what kind of comments do I have here? Default dash router and DNS dash server. So you see I have problems with the syntax. Default dash router DNS dash server 192.168, for example 10.5. And then I have to create second pool, which will make distribution of VLAN 20 IP addresses. And here everything will be changed from 10 to 20. Now it's time to copy this command and paste it into the global configuration mode of my router, so that my router will be configured with DHCP pools, two DHCP pools. And if I'll type show running configuration file, I should see here information about my DHCP. So excluded IP addresses and this two VLAN. About these two DHCP pools. One pool name is VLAN 10, another pool name is VLAN 20. It is just the name. It can be anything, any name. You can create your own names, and we are just defining these different IP addresses. And then when our computers will start to ask for the IP addresses from the DHCP server, computer PC2 will take information of the VLAN 10, so 10.6. And if my computer 1 will do the same job, it will get IP address of VLAN 20. How it is possible to that we just created two pools, DHCP pools, but our computers took proper IP addresses? It is possible because our router is connected to these two different sub interfaces. And when a request comes to from logical, when it is coming from VLAN 20 to the switch understand that it comes from VLAN 20, and then it is resends the broadcast by the trunk link, and it goes by the trunk link to sub interface of VLAN 20. And then our router understand that in our DHCP pool 20 we have, due to that fact that it came to IP address 21, it looks for network 20, and then it is distributing information out of this sub interface and exactly information about this VLAN, so that in case if your ports will be changed, for example, now I'll take this port off and I'll place it to different number, for example 10, and this port I will take and place it to number, so I'm sorry, to which port it been connected before, FA02. So then let me connect it to FA0, it was connected to FA03, now let me connect it to FA02. And now my computer 1 will be part of VLAN 10, okay? And I can now make connection of computer 2 to port FA03, so that when my computer 2 now will try to make, so as you see it is still IP address of 10, but when I'll try to make one more acquired one more DHCP discover, I will find out that my IP address is now 20.7. And if I'll do the same job here, I'll try to get new IP address, it will be 10 dot, and wow, something went wrong. And let me try to find out one more time my IP address. So I have to be sure that my port FA02 is on VLAN number 10. So show VLAN. It's going to be FA03. FA04, sorry. So yeah, then I have to reconnect to the FA04. And now if I'll try to make one more time request, it will be 10.7. Now it is again part of the VLAN 7. This is how we can make configuration of we can make configuration of DHCP server that can provide the distribution of IP addresses by using the different VLANs. Now it's time to show you how to make configuration of DHCP relay. In this example, our DHCP server is placed on the different network, and due to that fact that it's placed on different network, we have issue of the in the DHCP client. So the DHCP client, when it is sending the broadcast message, as you know, broadcast can be propagated only inside this area, so that PC1 is not able to contact even by broadcast our DHCP server, so it's not reachable. So all what we need to do, we have to go to configuration of gigabit 00 interface here, and then we have to say to our interface IP helper IP address, and we have to provide IP address of our DHCP server. So our DHCP server's IP address is 11.6. Here it is. And when you will type the command show IP interface gigabit 00, you can find out here the configuration of our IP helper IP address. And let's try to do it in our next packet tracer lab work, which I prepared for you. Well, first of all, let me try to, I don't have any ping, let me just take a look for IP addresses of my DHCP server. And here it is, I have it 2020, so my DHCP server's IP address is going to be, is already 2020, so this is going to be a DHCP server. So let me even type it here, DHCP server. And now our PC2 wants to have access to a DHCP server by the broadcast, but as you know, we have limitation of the broadcast, and here is one network and here is another network. So our broadcast cannot go from this part to this part till that moment when we will make configuration of our IP helper address. So that let's take a look for IP configurations in our router. Show IP interface brief command. Here we have this IP addresses. And do I have any configuration in my computers? So we don't have it now, and we don't have it now. So well, now what I have to do, I have to take a look first of all for the DHCP requests, and I will select here DHCP infiltration in the simulation mode, and then I will do what? I will make find out information by DHCP. Immediately my computer is generating the DHCP broadcast, which will reach PC1 and router, but no one will help to my computer because I'm sorry, it's already configured. Sorry guys, so let me take a look for my running configuration file, and yeah, here it is. So let me delete it. Interface gigabit 00 no, and let me paste this command. Now let's think that you didn't see this in action, and let me also click to one more time DHCP request, DHCP discover, sorry, and it will go to all equipments inside our network, and our DHCP process is still in work, and at the end no one helped to our computer, so that it is going to take the link local address, which can be used only inside the local area network, and which is not routable. And now it's time to make a configuration of the IP helper, so that when a broadcast request will reach gigabit 00 interface of our router, it will resend this information broadcast to another IP address, to the IP address of the DHCP server. IP helper, sorry, I have to go to interface gigabit 00 configuration, IP helper address and IP address of our DHCP server. If you'll type command show run, and then if you will take a look for configuration of your gigabit 00 interface, you can see that if gigabit 00 interface will receive the DHCP or any broadcast request, it will resend it to this DHCP server. So let's examine this in simulation. And now our request goes to router, and router provides this, you see, and now our request can reach the DHCP server, but we don't see replies. I don't know why. Maybe so let me check. See, I have an IP address of my default gateway. Maybe it is just not shown in the packet tracer. So let's try to do it one more time. Oh, it is still like this. And let me take a look for the configuration of my IP addresses in the router one more time. Actually, I did it, but I have to recheck it one more time because I see that something is wrong. Interface brief command. Well, let me try to make ping to 2020. It's working. And then from the DHCP server, let me try to make ping to IP address 10.1, which is placed on different network. Yeah, here it is. By the way, guys, I didn't maybe turn on the DHCP service on this DHCP server, so that I have to go to DHCP configuration, then on, and here I have to create pool, or maybe I can use the same pool, so that it's going to be pool number. So the gateway will be 10.1, the DNS server, imagine that we don't have it, and we'll start to give IP address from 10.10 with the subnet mask like this, and let's just save it. And let's try to make a request one more time, and now we have it. So you see, we just have an IP address 192.168.10.10, and if you'll take a look for the simulation one more time, then we'll have these replies from the server which are going to reach the PC2, and here it is. Well, this job also done, and let's continue with you. What do we have next? Also, guys, our routers can work as the DHCP clients. So all you need to do, you have to go into the interface of the router, and your router can be configured with IP address and DHCP command. Well, you can ask in which cases it is needed. Imagine that you have an ISP, internet service provider, and from ISP you are connecting to the Wi-Fi router which you have at your home, and from one side your router is giving DHCP service for your clients. So you have 2 or 3 equipments which are connected to the DHCP server, and DHCP server is actually integrated into your Wi-Fi router. So it's giving reply with IP addresses, and also it is connected to the ISP, and it is making a DHCP discover, and it is getting the DHCP offer, and it is making DHCP request, and it's getting DHCP acknowledged by itself. And all the time when your router is going to be connected to ISP, it is using the DHCP services, so that this IP address which is given by you by the internet service provider, so IP address, guys, can be different, so it is variable. Okay, why it is variable? Because you are not getting the static IP address from the internet service provider. If you want to get the static IP address, you have to pay extra money, but in case when you are leasing the DHCP address, then you are not charged with extra charges. So let's try to make configuration of the DHCP of the router as the DHCP client. So I think that I have a spatial file for you. Do I? Oh, I think that no. So then, guys, I will not make this topology in the packet tracer, but you have to be sure that if you'll type this command, your router will start to work as the DHCP client.